I felt like I just finished the last ranking about a month ago. Now a few weeks fresh from the 2024 Macy's Parade, and man, I've got a lot of things to say. Mainly that this parade tops the viewership over last year by gaining over 31.3 million views on NBC and Peacock combined, I believe. Well, that could be because CBS lost their airing rights. So many of them just tune into NBC, especially being the final parade for Hoda Kotb before she leaves the Today Show earlier next month. Also to note that even though it's parade number 98, this year marked the 100th anniversary of the very first Macy's Parade when it kicked off as Macy's Christmas Parade back on November 27th, 1924. 100 years later, I am here to talk about 27 songs in a rank format as I do so for the 98th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Starting up is the host of Peacock's Love Island USA doing a cover of the Cardigans song at number 27, Loveful by Ariana Madix. Not familiar with this song, and probably being one of the three that doesn't get a digital release is one thing. And more likely a parade exclusive like Jabara Banks' performance last year is the other one. She just became a balloon in the parade, and now leads a performance, setting sail at number 26, Live the Adventure by Minnie Mouse and Goofy. The Disney Cruise Line just launched the Disney Treasure, and the theme song was originally performed by Jordan Sparks. But since she was already in the parade 2 years ago, and with them doing songs without a celeb for the past 2 years, Minnie and Goofy can do it on their own. Not really that well put together in the parade. The song itself didn't have the themes to Aladdin, Coco, or Moana. The singing from the actors didn't sound great. It's odd that none of the characters' eyes nor mouths moved like in previous years, maybe because of the rain. And why do they keep repeating the entrance of Black Panther and Spider-Man as a surprise? Yeah, they should have gotten Jordan Sparks to join with them. And surprisingly, you can get this song digitally. This performance kind of almost had the telecast go over, not in a bad way by all means. At number 25, Christmas, Baby Please Come Home by The War and Treaty. Before the performance, there was actually something that we have never seen before. I have not specifically, I think in the telecast history, unless if I'm mistaken if you go back in the way early days, but I'm not really sure, a music technical issue, which gave us an awkward silence, and they have the host talk about the extraordinary Nora and the Elf on the Shelf balloon that was grounded before even starting the parade. After a bit of a long commercial break, we finally get to hear the couple duo of Michael and Tanya Trotter, and then after some research, they don't have this song on any digital platforms. They had performed this song before at CMA events, but they don't have any recordings of this version as of this recording around December of 2024, whether it be if it's not a single or an album yet, because it does sound nice, and I really want to hear more of a full recorded version of this song. Our non-English song of the year is a single release at number 21, and I might be butchering this here, Curos Menos by Natti and Natasha, which means Love Me Less in English. Okay, I don't know what Natalie or Natalia Batista meant by that. I just don't know if this is like a female version of Eres Mia. Honestly, I think the parade sounded better than the actual audio from the song itself. Also, when she says Adoras, I wonder why they put her on the Dora float, because it sounds like she's saying Dora's name. Doing all the songs you were featuring. 2 makes sense, not the other 2. At number 23, Good Life, Buy You a Drink, Low, and All I Do Is Win by T-Pain. Yep, doing 4 songs, which the 3 of them are from different artists. Faham Nasheem does a medley and a dance too of Kanye West's Good Life from the 2007 album Graduation as track number 5. His song, Buy You a Drink, from his second album from the 2007 album Epiphany. Flow Rider's Low from the 2008 album Molly on Sunday as track number 5, and DJ Khaled's All I Do Is Win from the 2010 album Victory as track number 2. I will admit, I did not know Low and All I Do Is Win were originally both from Flow Rider and DJ Khaled, and much older than I thought they were. But I never heard of Kanye's Good Life, which I'm surprised they actually did do a Kanye West song after the backlash he's gotten in recent years, and T-Pain's own song to this parade. If you combine them all in legit, if you're not doing it in a parade format, you get like 15 minutes. Dude, just do your hit Buy You a Drink. I will give you credit for telling us what songs you've done, some of the singing parts, especially All I Do Is Win. And I know it's a little over a minute for the parade, but still. Maybe I might get used to the first two, not the others, since I have heard of them at one point, especially All I Do Is Win. Because every time I hear that, I think of the Peanuts movie trailer with Charlie Brown's dance. Another single release here, number 22, Here We Go, Uh-Oh by Coco Jones. Or Courtney Jones if you go by her real name, which got nominated recently for 2 Grammy Awards. It does give me vibes of both Ella Mae's Boot Up with a combination of Alicia Keys, we'll mention her in a bit, and you could tell based on the tone of the song. Only thing is, as much as the song is good, I think the parade just didn't have the passion for me revisiting it. Just listening to it on its own works better. So, is this the tradition now for having a big celeb performance at the beginning, the end, and now in the middle? That's probably something I might not like about the telecast, I guess. At number 22, But and Can't Get You Out of My Head by Kylie Minogue. Making a return for her second parade, this time not on a float, our Australian artist has 2 songs. Her new single this year, Padam, and her most successful song of the 2000s from her 8th album, Fever, from 2001, track number 3, Can't Get You Out of My Head. From 2010 to 2024, I honestly kind of felt bored listening to both songs, especially the second one, because it's almost 4 minutes. And I can only think about the song in the parade, just the la la la, la 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 la. It's not at the bottom because the parade was not wasteful, and I don't know if she did sing it live or not. When she talked, yes, because with her saying Even in the Rain was legit live. Singing is more of a question mark, especially since one of them is a 23-year-old song. So the movie Elphaba made an appearance. The original Broadway Elphaba performs for her new musical at number 20, Great Escape from Broadway's Redwood by Adena Menzel. On her 5th or 6th parade, because I can't seem to find her in the 96 parade with the cast of Rent, Idina Menzel returns with this song for the upcoming Broadway musical Redwood, based on the life of Julia Butterfly Hill. As of this video's release in December of 2024, the show has not premiered yet, and we don't have a cast recording album. Although you can listen to what is either just the pop version of the song, or what's it gonna sound like when it's on stage, right here on YouTube. I actually have a problem with this song, and I think without context, it doesn't sound like a great number. The tone of the music and Idina's voice doesn't fit for me hearing, especially the ear part. I don't like that, honestly. Now, if I did this ranking a year later, then it might be a higher. Just by going through the preview performance in a pop style, I will take a pass. From NYC Girls to a Christmas Roku movie? At number 19, A Brand New Christmas from Jingle Bell Love by Joey McIntyre. Returning to the parade since 2001, the New Kids on the Block star decided to do a Roku Christmas movie called Jingle Bell Love, and why not do a song, a credit song I'm guessing, which is his new single, A Brand New Christmas. It does feel very calm, because we always get a, no pun intended, brand new Christmas every year, even though we do listen to the same songs and go to the same services, eat the same foods, etc. Only thing is, it was a duo song with Shoshana Bean, and like many other collab songs, trying to get both artists to do it together for the parade is not that easy for a ranking, to be precise. From a single release to the duo's Christmas album, returning for their second parade after 10 years at number 18, Officially Christmas by Dan and Shay, as track number 11 of disc 2, or 21 if you combine all of them in general, of their 6th album, It's Officially Christmas. It's fine. I do like the style, although I keep thinking of Show You Off more so. Well, in general, their voices usually sounds the same in most of the songs, once they do, unless if I'm mistaken. The highlight for the parade was definitely the Hallmark stars dancing to the song. If I could just watch the duo do a full dance of the entire song, I would be seeing a music video for that. From the work of Alicia Keys at number 17, The Gospel and Empire State of Mind by the cast of Broadway's Hell's Kitchen. And no, it's not based on the reality competition show. If it was, Gordon Ramsay would probably sue it with his potty mouth. Instead, it's a coming of age about passion. The Tony Award-winning musical does 2 numbers, the opening number, The Gospel, and the finale song, Empire State of Mind. One thing to mention, it's interesting we have not seen a Broadway performance in the rain for quite some time. It is so interesting to see that. guessing it might be because of the quality of the television has been improving since the 2000s, they managed to deal with this and not have the weather effect on them, since they haven't had like this since 2006. And this performance is a prime example. I love that performance they did in the parade. Both songs on their own have good moments, but I think they should have just stick with Empire State of Mind. Even though it's more of Jay-Z's song, it's just the more memorable one. Who's our big celebrity finale before Santa this year? An EGOT with her first holiday album, The Gift of Love, at number 16, Jingle Bells and Let There Be Joy by Jennifer Hudson, doing track number 13 and 17, which is a bonus track for the latter of her fourth album. So we do get 3 American Idol alumni performing in the parade 3 years in a row. Too bad she wasn't on the Toys R Us float. I love her version of Jingle Bells, as she says, "You ain't hear jingle bells like this," and sure enough, this might now be my favorite rendition of the song. Sorry, bare naked ladies. Then you get Let There Be Joy, which is the typical gospel Christmas style I was expecting when it comes to her. I do understand she did too, because if she just did Jingle Bells, it would have been odd, so I would give her credit for doing 2. Is it my favorite finale? Maybe. It's just being lower on me, not being a fan of the second song, and the tough competition it has when you look at the entire roster of songs. After 7 years with the Christmas tree, a new Macy's choir comes in with a Latin artist at number 15, Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Sebastian Yatra and Macy's Big Brother Big Sisters choir. This new Macy's choir joins Sebastian, who many of you might know him for doing the song Dos Oruguitas from Disney's Encanto. A year before that film came out, he was one of the artists in the 2020 holiday album Feliz Christmas Volume 1. Track number 1 of that compilation album would be what the choir does with him, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. In the main version with just Sebastian, I really loved it, especially when he did it in both English and Spanish, or if it's Latin if I'm wrong, something that would have been amazing if Gloria Estefan would have done that with Thankful 2 years ago, instead of just splitting them separately, even though this rendition was released in 2020 before Gloria's holiday album. As much as I miss it, and I was a bit disappointed that the Singing Christmas Tree was out, I do like this new Macy's choir joined with a celebrity. There is one problem, though. We just did this song last year with Catherine McPhee and David Foster. It makes no sense to bring it back again for the second year in a row. Then again, Sesame Street did do Best Christmas Ever 2 years in a row. One of the 2 artists that's around my age of 24, although I'll be 25 on New Year's Day, at number 14, Carry You Home by Alex Warren. Making his debut album, Alexander Hughes brings us You'll Be Alright Kid Chapter 1 and does track number 3, Carry You Home, which this song even had a single, both a solo and a version with Ella Henderson. After finding a little info about this man and the journey he has gone through personally, I feel so happy for him where he is now. Got married in the summer, his first album, and performing this song, which was devoted to his wife, was so beautifully done. It does honestly give me vibes, oddly enough, if Andy Grammer wasn't crazy and more calm for his music. I do prefer his solo cover than the collaboration one with Ella, since the song meant so much for him. Very happy for him that he got to be in this parade on where his life is right now. Here's the other artist around my age at number 13, Austin, or Boot Stop Working by Dasha. Going by her middle name for stage, Anna Novatina released her second album, What Happens Now. Track number 4 was a single over a year ago and became her dance line hit, Austin, which is explicit, by the way. This is truly a line dance, especially those Kilgore College Rangerettes that have appeared in a couple of parades in the past. Now doing it with a celeb is pretty cool. However, the song is too short. This would have made sense for her to do the whole song. And is it just me? But based on her appearance in the parade, I have to ask, why does she look like a sexy Taylor Swift? Now we're getting into some of the good stuff, and definitely the most fun song here, because there are 3 different versions of this song. At number 12, Fancy Like by Walker Hayes. After being in a single, and then a track number 3 on an EP, Walker Hayes made Country Stuff the album, his third in general, and the song now becomes track number 6, Fancy Like. The main version is what we hear in the parade, but there's also a single version with Kesha, an artist we haven't heard in a while, and a Christmas version from his EP Christmas Vacation as track number 1. I could just listen to those 3 versions in a row, well, at least during the Christmas time, and then just the 2 throughout the rest of the year. When I was listening to the song, when I was doing my ranking positions here, when the song mentioned Oreo shake, my sister heard that and she just said, Oreo shake. Now, we don't have an Applebee's in our area, but we are getting a Chick-fil-A next to a Wawa soon. Even the single with Kesha is so catchy as well, especially for her doing a country song. Not the first time we see a pop artist doing a collab song with a country artist. I think Walker and his family would have done a lot more fun jumping around or doing their dance on the float if it wasn't raining, of course. Celebrating 55 years at number 11, Sing by Lea Salonga and the cast of Sesame Street. The long-running show brings us their iconic kid to the parade the third and a half time in terms of the actual parade footage that's up on YouTube. Our friends at Sesame Street do Sing, which they did back in 1988, 1998, a little bit in 2009 with What Makes Music, that's where the half part is, and now in 2024 with Lea Salonga, who had made an appearance on the show a while back, returning for her second parade since 1991, but many of you might know her as the singing voice of two of the Disney princesses, Jasmine and Mulan. And also, this is the second time ever we see Big Bird by the door instead of the nest, which is understandable because of the rain. And I do love this rendition, although I do prefer the 1998 performance though, which is odd because that parade was also raining that same year, but the difference was Big Bird was not present. Nothing bad here, it's just maybe the ensemble wasn't big, which I get it. I do love Leia's voice here, and they did somewhat of a complete performance. Also, Elmo got way too much. You know what? I already talked about in the last ranking, so I'll just leave it be. I do not know if I want any cinnamon or not. At number 10, Red Christmas from Descendants, The Rise of Red by Kylie Cantrell. Although it's not really from the new Descendants movie, it's just what the single release called it. It is a fun song, and I did enjoy some of the parade. I do like that Kylie is almost in her Descendants character through the costume, although it's not the one from the movie. Love the choreography, the tone of the song in general, and I believe she did sing this live. There was no echo, but since you hear her voice kind of going over through her mic, I gotta give it credit for her on that. Only thing is the parade was way too short. Could have been a little longer as well, and they kind of did a little bit of the red number a little bit in the performance of the parade, but I don't really kind of count that. Here's one of the two classic songs in this year's parade. At number 9, Why Can't We Be Friends by War. The 1975 hit from the band's 7th album of the same name as track number 9, as next year marks the album and the song's 50th anniversary. I am liking how with this decade, with how, I don't know if it's NBC or just Macy's, of them bringing well-known artists from many decades in the past, performing some of the iconic songs to a younger generation, let alone introduce to some teens and maybe some kids who they are. And that's not the only one they have done in this roster for this year's parade. It's just them simply saying the title song, although it's the same audio they recorded back in the 70s. I wish it was more of a modern recording. A little suspense for our new musical that just opened at number 8, If You Want Perfection by the cast of Broadway's Death Becomes Her, featuring Michelle Williams. Based on the 1992 film of the same name, Death Becomes Her transforms as a staged musical. And before it opened, there was a sneak peek EP that was released. And for the parade, we are first greeted by Megan Hilty and Jennifer Samard by introducing Destiny's Child star Michelle Williams as the cast does the opening number, If You Want Perfection. This was a bit intense, I will give you that. Especially since the style, like the music, is kind of in a mixture of Bob Fosse and Andrew Lloyd Webber's musicals, putting them together in one. Jeez, credit to the music people on that if they actually did combine those two. Michelle as her character is basically welcoming to this world of this story, even doing what Beetlejuice did back in 2019, smack talking about the parade and Thanksgiving in general. Since it just opened, let's see how this musical goes. One of the most well-known classic songs of the 60s from this group at number 7, My Girl by The Temptations. After hearing the Broadway version back in 2020, we got the real version by the current members of The Temptations to track number 3 of the single hit that turned 60 this year that would be in their 1965 album, The Temptations Sing Smokey. Unlike War, this is how you do a modern recording of the song. I have this song in general on my iTunes for many years, and it still holds up. One massive problem that I've been having since 2015 when it comes to NBC's telecast is with the camera crew showing the crowd a lot during the performances. I think for me, this is the best use of it, because a lot of them were singing to it, including Savannah and Hoda. I know they kind of also did with Wars, Why Can't We Be Friends, and the host kind of moving a lot to Kylie Minogue's performance, but that's a little bit different. And like myself and pretty much everyone else who was watching that event live, like myself when I was watching it on television, I was a little early on the current singer doing the modern version of the What Can't Make Me Feel This Way lyric, because it goes originally like this. I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way? Now, currently, and even on the Broadway musical Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, they just go, I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way? It's just a bit off for me. After Macy's gift guide, Alison Brie cut the ribbon, we begin with our opening performance to a song from The Wiz at number 6, Ease On Down the Road by Billy Porter. Out of all the 3 special performances, I say this is the best, because this one makes the most sense for the celebration of this parade, unlike the other 2. It would be better than Love Yourself that he did back in 2019. It's just that other than the War and Treaties performance, we don't have a digital version of this rendition of this Wiz song yet. We don't know if we will have a new album from him, or a new single from him, or is this just being a parade exclusive, since we're about less than a month fresh from this parade. I know that the float is kind of creepy, but I was not expecting the artist would go on full-on Wednesday Addams here with this single at number 5, Painted Black by Bishop Briggs, as Sarah McLachlan does a cover of the Rolling Stones song. Help me with this song. The way how Bishop Briggs does her voice is so creepy done right. Especially that yell part of the song. Even she more looks like if Wednesday Addams was all grown up in the parade, being, no pun intended, painted it in black. The only thing I didn't like were all those Wednesday dancers. Here's one musical other than Hell's Kitchen that really showed how they managed to deal with the rain. This Tony Award-winning musical does number 4, Tulsa 67, and finale by the cast of Broadway's The Outsiders. The finale is just a reprise of Tulsa 67. I have to give it credit for something that I was very surprised about. There was a bit of live singing going on, mainly from the star of the musical Brody Grant as Ponyboy Curtis. You can tell not also with his mic, but all the sounds when he did with his hands with the kid in the audience and one of the cast members, you know, the one where they kind of do this handshake or something like that. There is a little bit of a dance break here, which is kind of unnecessary, although we haven't seen that in a while for the parade. I just prefer some singing, because this song basically explains what Tulsa was like in the late 60s, if something you would like to see. And I can tell based on the opening dialogue that Curtis says Paul Newman in A Ride Home, I can see without context on why this won the Tony for Best Musical. On his 10th Macy's Parade, he has finally released an album that has a connection with this event at number 3, Hey Rudy by Jimmy Fallon and The Roots, as the NBC Tonight Show host does track number 3 of his holiday album, Holiday Season. You know, I was hoping for this album would have almost been all the songs that Jimmy and his band had performed in the parades all the years they have done. Nope, just 2. Almost Too Early for Christmas and Hey Rudy, which is an interesting take on Rudolph here. I do think this is his best performance of this decade so far. Interesting that Jimmy was wearing pajama pants in his performance, which kind of makes a connection to the song. So with the exception of 2021, and now on his 10th, we are going to assume Fallon will be a yearly thing in the parade until when he ends his time on The Tonight Show. So if it is, we'll see him next year. While her sister, Halle Bailey, has started in 2 big movies last year, she does her second parade as a solo artist for her second album at number 2, Boy Bye by Chloe, as she does the explicit song, although it's clean for the parade, from the album Trouble in Paradise as track number 3. The opening did give me vibes of Maddie and Tay's Flight for some reason, which I would not be surprised if someone does a mashup of those 2 songs together. I feel like it is a fast song despite being 3.5 minutes. The big credit comes to her in the parade, and I do think she sang it live when she said New York City at the beginning, and it's not the same audio from the actual song itself. Credit to her on that. There was one performance, though, that not really because it's the one I kept going back to, but one of the two songs really felt something to me. And if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen this coming. At number 1, I Don't Really Care or Set Me Free and Fight Song by Rachel Platten. Returning to the parade since 2015, which her song Stand By You was my number 1 of that year's ranking, Rachel Platten does 2 songs. Her song Set Me Free from her new album, I Am Rachel Platten, as track number 9, and bringing in her famous song from her album Wildfire, track number 5, Fight Song. I have Fight Song for quite some while in my iTunes, so that needs no explanations, but Set Me Free really got to me. Hearing that song for the very first time was really powerful, especially the echoing that occurs in it. And the parade had her on the right float with the new rails float, especially with all the smoke coming from the dragon really fits in the mood for Rachel's songs, with the dance group in front of the float as well. It's just perfect. And that performance in the parade, I kept going back to the most, because I kind of mentioned this in the 2015 ranking. I am seeing the singer as an angel, and she's telling me something. And Set Me Free really told me what I want, with the addition of Fight Song. So much so, I highlighted her performance on my Instagram story the day after Thanksgiving, and I tagged Rachel on it. I was not gonna think, oh, she was not gonna see it. I was not expecting this, but Rachel Platten herself did share my story on her story page on Instagram, and I really felt emotional, even though I can't cry as I used to. Okay, I'm gonna kind of go a little bit off script here because this has been something I kind of want to mention. I was originally thinking about doing a short video on this, but when Rachel Platten made this song and actually performed this song in the Macy's parade, it really meant something to me, and I feel like it is appropriate that I would mention it in this video. Throughout most of 2024, especially as not just a young adult male with Asperger's syndrome, but also somebody who is about to turn 25. Throughout most of this year, I have been kind of going through, I would say, a quarter-life crisis. And this is specifically because I feel like with myself, I am trapped inside my brain and I can't get out. It's almost like I'm trying to run, like I feel like I'm in my brain trying to run out of it and trying to escape it, but it's kind of stuck. Like, it just wants to break open and just say, like, I feel like I want to be a free person. Because, as many of you know, this first of the half of the decade sucks. Especially this year as well. And another continuation why this, because politicians are just one of the big aspects for me. Especially how stressful that election is. And I couldn't take it anymore with politicians, especially this election, because I am not on anyone's side, and I feel like I just want to escape that as, like, somebody who wants to escape, like, and do things like what I want to do, like, obviously making content here on YouTube, and talking about stuff like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, another event that kind of gets in the realms of escapism, music, films, television, like, these all make me happy, and, there is a lot of other things I really will want to do, but then when you look at the real world side of, like, what the world's going on with all the wars and how our country is so divided with all politicians and everyone else almost just like they want to beat the ever-loving crap out of each other, I just, like, can't really take it. And I just feel like that's when I kind of, like, mentioned, like, I'm kind of, like, charging out of my brain and just trying to get out of the evil side, or, like, of the world going on, especially, like, with all, like, I almost feel like politicians are almost like villains per se. If you look in the world, I almost feel like I could be almost like in the world of a movie or a television series, and just seeing all the bad people around the entire country or just throughout the world, and all the heroes that really want to do it, especially the angels. And Rachel Platten is a prime example of an angel. And this song set me free. Just really, that's what I really needed, because that's what I want to be. I really want to be free, and trying to see what else I can do in my life. And like, not just obviously been doing these videos for quite some time, but just see what I can also do in my life. And hopefully there could be some things that I really want to do in 2025. It's just, you have to deal with throughout these all what's going on in the real world, especially what's going to be changing a bit with the new presidency. It is just going to be really scary for us for the next 4 years, and I don't know what's going to happen. We all know what's not going to happen. We don't even know what's going to happen. It's just like, it's just really difficult. And here comes this song. As I just mentioned, I really needed this. This song just really told me that this is like myself versus the world. Like, it's just like, I don't really care what anyone has. Like, it's just like, I just want to be free who I am as a human being. I just want to feel that. I just want to feel like, yeah, I would have to follow like rules and stuff like that, but I just really want to legit be free and just be somebody like Rachel Platten. So, even though I know she will not be watching this, but I just want to say, so with that, thank you very much, Rachel, for not also telling us who, with that song, of who you are, but also it told me who I am, so I can be free. Which actually does mark, and with that and your combination with Fight Song, also marks your two songs for my number one. Again, for yourself, for the second time, for the 2024 Macy's Parade ranking. And with that, that comes to the end of the 2024 ranking. If you are new to the channel, you can hit that subscribe button and check out all the other rankings on my channel. I can't believe we just did that. 24 just already here. 98 parades down. 2 to go.